Okay, so yesterday a huge story broke late in the day talking about nine different cryptocurrencies that the SEC claims are now securities. In their words, these nine cryptocurrencies were, manipulated by employees at Coinbase, and they quickly wanted to label them securities. But we've got some updated information and some things to unpack here as we continue to follow the story because this is the biggest story in all of crypto. And I think anything related to this is right now because it affects us all. So put the differences aside, the tribalism, we should get rid of it completely. But put it all aside for a second. It's not about this token versus this token or this coin versus this coin. This is about everything that is not Bitcoin. That's why it's important. Because let's face it, in the first draft that was drafted up by regulators, it looks as if Bitcoin will, at least in the eyes of the SEC, uh, be listed as a commodity. But Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, basically said everything else is in question. And even the first draft of the bill done by Gillibrand and um, um, Lummis, it too said that, basically Bitcoin is going to be okay. It's everything else, right? It's everything else. It's all the altcoins, right? We got to figure this out. Well, we've got some updated information from yesterday. SEC will need to prove that these tokens are securities in the Coinbase Insider Trading case, legal expert says. And we a little bit to unpack here. So hang in there, hit that like button. This is pretty interesting stuff here. And again, it's very important because it hits at home for everybody. If you own anything but Bitcoin, well, this is important. So the SEC will need to prove the tokens listed on Coinbase are in fact securities. Those nine listed yesterday. One was AMP. I did make a video on this yesterday. You can check it out on my channel. But here's where some things get gray. Okay. McGinley, this is a partner at an international law firm right now, Aiken, Gump, Strauss, Hauer, and Feld, told CoinDesk TV's First Mover that the government agency could not have filed a case unless the tokens in question are actually securities. Moreover, the SEC doesn't have that option. They will have to prove that it's a security before they can just go ahead and list them as such. So this whole thing that shook out, basically the SEC's charges followed a complaint issued by DOJ on Thursday in which it alleged that Ishan Wahi, former product manager at Coinbase, engaged in wire fraud and wire fraud conspiracy. The charges allege that Wahi shared confidential Coinbase information to tip off his brother, Nikhil Wahi, and Samir Rahmani about which crypto assets were scheduled to be listed on the cryptocurrency platform. What has happened? Anytime it gets listed on Coinbase, we usually see a pump, especially during the bull market. Remember what happened to AMP token? AMP token went absolutely absurd when it got listed to Coinbase. Well, that's one of the tokens that's in question here. Now, this prompted the SEC to bring forth charges against the trio based on the same allegations. For the first time, however, the SEC used the complaint to identify these nine tokens as securities without charging the issuers or exchanges issuing the digital assets. And it says here, furthermore, McKinley says Coinbase is walking a fine line here. On one hand, the defendant violated the exchange's confidentiality policy, and in doing so, they do not want employees to be able to do this. On the other, though, the platform has responded to the case by saying that the tokens in question themselves are not securities. This is just people who did something they were not supposed to do while working at Coinbase. Coinbase most recently filed a petition to the SEC criticizing the current state of crypto regulation in the U.S., noting the existing rules for securities just do not work for digital assets. Well, I mean, right now there's really nothing in place. And we've seen this story before where the U.S. and the U.K. are falling behind because they're missing out on this innovation because they have not clearly thought out what is a security versus a commodity. They're just trying to basically couple a lot of things together and call them all securities, right? This is the SEC saying we don't need any new regulation here. A security token acts like a security. It walks like one. We're going to treat it like one for this insider trading case. This is coming from McKinley. So still a lot to iron out here. The SEC, of course, one of the governing bodies that's going to be at the forefront of all of these regulations, but we're a long ways away. And I recently read an article that we might not have anything by later this year. It might be mid next year until we really have something set in stone here, at least in the United States. So we'll continue to monitor it. We have to, because it impacts us all. Crypto's not going anywhere, but regulation is coming in some way, shape, or form, and we have to be prepared for it. We've got to be out in front of it if we want to do our best as investors. So that's what I've got for you here in the video. Hit the like button on your way out. Consider subscribing to the channel. We'd love to have you in the private community. Link down below in the description. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.